Hi everyone! Welcome to episode 6 of the Little Bee Knitting, Spinning and Crochet podcast. My name is Kirsty. Can't quite believe we're on episode 6. Can't quite believe I've actually managed to stick with this for so long and squeeze it in at the weekends. I actually kind of work my weekends around recording, so where you can find me. I'll go into a bit more detail later on, but if you are on Instagram, my Instagram is Little Bee Kirsty, all one word, and if you're on Ravelry it's little-b. We do have a forum for the podcast. It's the Little Bee podcast. I think you just do a search for it and it will come up. So again, that's Instagram as Little Bee Kirsty, Ravelry as little-b, and then there's the Little Bee podcast. So where to start? Let's start with faux. I actually have 3 faux, and one of them was a hole before and I got the other one finished. So the first one I've got to show off are my socks. Yep, that's 2 whole socks, people. You heard that right, I have 2 socks. Can't quite believe I got them finished. I literally got, I think it was last weekend. It was Saturday. Excuse me. I really wanted to cast something else on. I looked at these socks and I was just like, why are you not finished? Like, why have I not finished you already? So I sat down and I stuck on a movie or two and I was just like, I'm gonna get these done. I was determined, and I think it hit me when I was in Costa that day. It's last Saturday, and I was in Costa and I was knitting them and I was just like, why are these not finished? Like, seriously, why are these not finished? And I got home after being in Costa and doing some shopping and I was like, right, movies, knitting, now, get these finished, get them off the needles, I want them done by tonight. And abracadabra, they were finished. And I'm not in a rush to make another pair, but I don't despise knitting socks. Let's see. So a lot of, what did I drop? I dropped my needle. A lot of people have been going on their podcast talking about the Hiya Hiya Sharps, or these small 9-inch circular needles, and I can't stop raving about them basically. They are quite, as I've spoke about in a previous episode, they are, obviously because they're smaller, there's less needle to hold on to. For me personally, it did hurt my hands, but that's just because I've got really bad joints in my hand. And I know a few others have been complaining about using them, but for someone like myself who's never tried magic loop and has never done the whole 2 circular needles at a time, I love them. I think they're brilliant. Much better than DPNs, that's for sure. I will use DPNs when I have to, but if I don't have to, that's all the better in my eyes. So these wee 9-inch Hiya Hiya Sharps, they're a wee bit more expensive than I think I've paid for needles, like single needles one at a time, but so worth it. Like, I use the 2.75s because I've got quite big feet, but I'm thinking I might be able to go down to a 2.5 because there is quite a bit of bit of ease in there, and it's not the good kind, which is the negative ease that you want. Look at me sounding like I know what I'm talking about. That's just learning from all the other podcasts. So yeah, I may be able to go down to a 2.5 or a 2.25. I don't know. I don't know if I want to chance a 2.25. I might try my next pair at a 2.5 because I do have wool set aside just for socks. But like I say, I'm in no rush to make a new pair, but I'm not against making another pair, if that makes sense. So I got that second sock finished on Saturday. Now, I've got to admit I've not blocked them, but the way I see it is, as much as I've got one blocker, my feet are going to be the blockers, so yeah, I'm just going to wear them around the house for a wee while, and then I might wear them in my shoes. I don't know if I want to wear them out because I don't know what the wool's made out of. But yeah, I'd like to learn maybe a different toe. I'd like to know how you do contrasting heels and toes. I know, I get that you just change it for the toe, but how would you do a contrasting heel? I think I need to learn a new heel as well. I think I might finally learn the fish lips kiss heel. Very surprised I managed to get that out right the first time around. But I've heard it is quite daunting. It's like 16 pages long for the pattern, but it's like $1 for the pattern or something, which is great. So yeah, I may be learning more socks. I was on Amazon and I was trying to find like a good sock book for learning how to do different styles of socks, like not the pattern, like I don't mind if it's cabled, if it's plain vanilla, if there's a waffle stitch or whatever people are calling it. It's actually like the construction of the sock that I would like to learn about. So if anyone could maybe point me in the right direction for a good book, that would be brilliant. Or even like I say a lot, but yeah, if anyone has any blog posts recommendations, again, jeez. But yeah, you get what I mean. If anyone's got a recommendation for a book, a podcast in particular, got to stop saying that. Or if there happens to be, jeez, right, I gotta stop. If there happens to be someone's made like a blog post about their construction of socks, then if you could send me the link or the name of the book, the name of the designer, etc, etc, that would be very appreciated. So moving on to my second faux. I have 3 faux, people, 3 faux. Sorry, I get carried away. My second faux, if anyone has me on Instagram, will have seen this wee guy. He is not spinning, he is not knitting, and he is most certainly not crochet. He is felted. Well, he's not felted, sorry, that's not right. He used sheets of felt sewn together, hand sewn, using blanket stitch. Don't know if you can see that. There we go. Yeah, look at his wee heart, his wee feet. He's just so awesome. His wee beak. It looks a wee bit stuck down, but it's not. I just love him. I've not got a name from him yet, but someone said he looked like... It's not Gunter. Oh no, maybe I'm getting confused with my my crochet penguin. But yeah, if anyone wants to name him, jump onto my Instagram, find a picture of him, and give him a name. Because I've not named him yet. I want to make more, but I've just not had the time. I've got loads of felt, and I've got no excuse not to. But yeah, I need to make more of them. I want to make more of them. So that is my second faux. My third and last faux, if anyone has me on Instagram, will know about this already, especially Charlotte. Hi Charlotte. I am so gutted that this does not fit. I thought 100 stitches on DK weight yarn was far too big when I had cast it onto the needles. Now I was using 4mm needles. I was using my pony circulars, which was weird for me. I don't normally do my pony circulars, but I had no choice. I had new needles. So, cast on 100 stitches and kind of winged the first part of the pattern. All I had to go with were some charts. And it was a really good project. I had loads of fun making it. I was so excited for the end result that you can imagine how gutted I was when it didn't fit. And I talked about this on my last podcast, that I was going to cast this on and I couldn't wait. I was so excited and it was a new skill. I made my colour Star Wars hat. That's right, people. I made it. And it says, "May the force be with you." And it's got, how many stormtroopers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? 5? Yeah. Excuse me. 5 stormtroopers on it. And I did the best I could with Stranded. And I think I threw a wee bit of Intarsia in there as well, and I don't know what I was doing. I was just trying my hardest. I was kind of winging it as I was saying. There's 3 colours in there. There's a lovely teal down the bottom and the border, and then there's the white, more teal and black, more white and more teal. And I was going to throw a pom-pom on at the end of it, but because I don't know who this is going to go to, if anyone, I thought they may not like pom-pom, so more wool for me. But yeah, I think I have enough black to cast on another one. And I took the wool up to my friend's house yesterday with another project in my bag, and I left the project to start a new Star Wars hat in the boot of my car. Forgot to pick it up. Forgot to pick it up again when I got home, so the wool is in my car. And I don't know if I'm put off by starting another one, and because I don't want another one to not fit. But I'm thinking still go with 100 stitches, because that's what the pattern for the wording calls for. And then to get 5 stormtroopers it's 100 stitches. And go up to a 5mm needle, but then if I have a 5mm needle and DK weight yarn, is it going to become too gapey? Is it going to actually keep me warm? Is the wind going to go straight through it? And I'm very tempted to make it slouchy. I'm very tempted to extend the teal band at the bottom to at least maybe 1.5 inches, if not 2 inches. And then have a bigger gap between the teal border and the teal band. So right in here, there's only 1 row of black before you hit the teal border. So I'm thinking at least 2 inches of ribbing, a wee bit more black before I start the border, then into this, and then the border, that kind of thing. So I'm thinking about making it a slouchy hat. And that way, the band, the ribbing band, will be mostly what's on my head, because I wear my slouchy hats quite far back. It's 2 extremes. I either wear it about here or I wear it like up here. So watch this space. There may or may not be another colourwork hat. And I'm proud of what I achieved, because it was my first time doing colourwork. I am just so gutted it doesn't fit. So gutted. But yeah, those are my foes for the week, which sounds weird, but not as weird as saying hose. Which I still don't really understand why we say ho, but hey ho. Ha. But I keep losing my train of thought completely, and I keep slouching and moving around. I'm so sorry. Where are my show notes? I have show notes, people. I wrote these down like 2 minutes before I started the podcast. Socks, penguin, Star Wars hat. Yep, that about covers it. So I have 3 whips, 3 foes for 3 whips. And if I can get this bag open, kind of takes like a magic touch to get this open. So my first whip, and I apologise if I say this name wrong because I'm not so good with pronunciation. It's the Nurmalintu shawl by Heidi Alander, and it's pretty much no purling, all knitting. So let's see. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. That's how you pronounce it. So in case I've said that, well, no, that's how you spell it in case I've pronounced it wrong. And I slightly altered the pattern, I'm not gonna lie. Basically you do, let me see, garter stitch. I get confused with garter stitch and stockinette. So you do garter stitch. So it starts in this kind of point and then it gets bigger and bigger and wider and wider. So you do garter stitch for so many rows and then you start a lace section. And the lace section is meant to be done again with no purling, but I really wanted this lace section to pop and stand out because I'm doing it all in the one wool that is variegated in colour. So I really wanted this lace section to pop, so I decided no, I'm going to purl on the wrong side, and already I can see a difference. Let's see, I'm going to knock things over. So there's my garter, and then here's the start of my lace. And I don't know what it is, maybe it's just me, maybe you guys think no, you should have gone for a continuation where there is no purling. But I like the pop already. I can tell that you're gonna see this lace bit stand out. It's gonna look really good. And I was considering if I didn't change it to including purl, that I was just going to change the colour and have like a serious contrast in colour for the lace section, but I thought, considering how variegated this yarn is, that throwing in a new colour could really... I don't want to say dull it down because there's no way in hell I could dull down this colour, but it could really make it look nasty. So I decided to stick with the one colour, which shockingly enough is very similar to the one that the designers used on the front page. But so far I am really enjoying it. Not gonna lie, I got a bit bored up until the point where I was really needing to start the lace panel. Garter stitch is boring. It's so mind numbing. It's one of these projects you can just do at any point, anywhere, and just get through it, but at the same point you're just like, oh my god, am I not done yet? I think I made a mistake. I did. I made a mistake. I'm gonna have to think back and fix that. So, could not tell you for the life of me what yarn I'm using. I am stash busting, and I'll get into that later. But this is it. Look at those colours. Aren't they gorgeous? I think I was given this yarn by my mum. I think she just started disliking the colour. I'll show you better knitted up. So look at those colours. Look how tonal that is. It's so pretty. It pretty much stripes, but at the same point it's not a stripe, if you get what I mean. I really like it. I think I'm going to really love the finished object when it's finished. And I do like the pattern. It's just garter stitch can get really boring, but it's the same as stockinette stitch. You get really bored with that as well. So that is what's currently on my needles. I have one of each project. I have a spinning project, a crochet project, and a knitting project. This is like the first since the time I started this podcast. So that Nurmalintu is being kept in my Helen Whiteley bag, who does the As Yet Unnamed podcast. I talked about these in my last episode and how I got the last two that was in her shop before she went on holiday, and I love it. It's been in my bag for 2 weeks now. It's been in my bag, and I chop and change between this one and the Star Wars bag, and I just love it. It's the perfect size for that shawl, for that yarn, and the pattern itself. But it's certainly a small projects bag. You couldn't get anything like really much bigger, because once that shawl gets bigger I'm going to struggle to fit it in. So now, which project do we go for? We'll go for this one. So I've talked about in my previous podcast that I was going to make a blanket, and it started off as a granny square that I got frogged, and then it went into a granny stitch blanket, if that's what you want to call it. I've made some progress on it. I'm going to double it over on itself because it's quite a big blanket. Look at the progress! Hi! Look at that! I got so many rows done. I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13 extra rows done on it, or thereabouts. But I've been bad. I'm not sewing on any ends, none at all. And I realised kind of working on this that I was going to run out pretty much every colour. I've got only one ball of this teal, and the only reason I've only got one is because there was only one. It was at the SECC last year. I'm pretty sure it was Karen So Soft, and I could maybe order some from America, but I'm not gonna. And then this white is the Women's Institute that I know fine well I could go up and get more. It just might not be in the same dial up, which is fine for a blanket. And then this darker teal that I decided to throw in just in case I run out, I actually have 2 balls of. And it's one of the 400 grams, so I think I'm sorted. I'm just going to be slightly gutted if I run out of this really electric blue teal early on. So I'm going to try and space it out. Excuse me. Another thing I've been doing is, it doesn't, so this blue is 2 rows in length. This white is 5, and then we go to 2, and then we go to 1, then we go to 4, and then we go to 3. So I'm not sticking to a pattern, I'm not sticking to any obvious repetitions. I am literally just going with it, chopping and changing when I feel the need, and trying to spread out the colours, not even evenly, if that makes sense. I'm just doing what takes my fancy and kind of going with it. Really, there's not much more to say other than I am winging that project big time. Excuse me. So, I'm going to move a wee bit closer. Hi! That's horrible, let's not do that. So, my spinning project! I realised that I hadn't really thought about spinning apart from my first 2 podcasts, which is ridiculous considering this is a knitting, spinning and crochet podcast. And I think it was about, I went to say 2 years ago, I carded up a whole bunch of bats, took all my fibre and just went crazy and spent the whole day carding, different colours, different fibres, putting everything together, and then I stopped spinning. And all these carded bats just kind of sat looking lonely and sad and pathetic. So I decided, what the hey, let's do a huge skein of multicolours, different fibres, basically kind of like an art yarn. Kind of, because it's not doing your thick and thin or any kind of fancy spinning techniques, it's literally just spinning it. Then we're going to, I'm thinking Andean ply, think I might Andean ply it, but we don't know. I say we, I don't know. So let's see if I can get a close up of this. I was wondering when that 20-minute segment would kick in, and that's why I also moved slightly closer to the camera. So here it is again. So as you can see, there is some really bright pink about here. Bright pink and orange, and then there's a whole different colour here. So this is covered up the layer before, and then that's the kind of last part of it there. And that's 2 different bats. This wee layer here was mental. I had put like slubs of cotton in, pure cotton, and so there is kind of like a whole thick and thin bit going on with there where I've not quite pulled the slub enough to pull out the cotton. It was a huge mix of fibres. There was loads of merino, Cordale, there was a whole bunch of Angelina in there, which got on my carpet and then got on the cat, so my cats were really sparkly for a while. And I've really enjoyed spinning that. And the reason I've not spun more is because I didn't have oil for my wheel and it started making really horrible noises, so I didn't want to continue until I got more oil. So I now have oil, and I'm gonna, once I get home at some point today, I'm gonna just go crazy on that and spin to my heart's content because I think it's gonna be really awesome. So I have a couple of the bats that I plan on spinning. excuse the crinkling. So this one is Merino, Angelina and Tussa silk. Let's see. And oh my goodness, if you can see the sparkle. I don't think you can, but believe me, there is sparkle in here and it is gorgeous. But yeah, I don't know why I haven't spun these sooner. I think it's because I just stopped touching my spinning wheel. I literally had it where I couldn't see it. I didn't want to spin. At one point I was considering selling my spinning wheel. So I don't know, I've been so inspired watching all the podcasters that spin, and I was just like, you know what, stop being so envious of what they make and just make it. So I got my spinning wheel out. My mum was like, what's your spinning wheel doing out? And I'm like, I'm spinning. So even she was surprised. So here's another one, which is Merino, Corriedale and Corn Fibre, and it's quite dark. I really want to call this kind of like midnight, but there's a pure flash of bright orange, bright yellowy green, and it's amazing. So let's see how good the camera does. So you can just about see some yellow in here, trying to see some blue in here, some purple and white. Right, let me see, what colours have I got? Purple, blue, kind of like an orange, rustic orange, some bright yellow. Do you see that? How nice is that? I think that's the corn fibre. So red, some brown, I think I said brown. But I mean, look how big these bats are. These are really folded up. I've done quite a good job when I made these. Not to toot my own horn, but look how wide these are. Let's see. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to spinning some of these up. I want to get all on the one bobbin, but I don't think I'm going to, considering how many bats I've got. Counted them all up, and I think I had about 19 bats, and some of them are tiny. Some of them are like 20 grams, and some of them are about 90 grams, which I don't know how I've managed. I think I may have just doubled them up. I'll need to have a look. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting these done. I'll show you the next one. This will just show you how extreme the colours are. So we've got from a really gorgeous red, well, pinky red, to a really kind of dark midnight kind of colour. And this one is Corriedale, Sari Silk, Mawata Silk, is that how we say that one? Corn Fibre and Soy Silk. Let's see if I can get this unfolded neatly. And oh my goodness, this looks so much better now that it's out of the bag. You ready? Are you ready? I'm not ready. Oh, okay, wee bit came off. Here we go. How gorgeous is this? I'm gonna get fibre in my tea. So we've got blue, we've got green, we've got white, we've found the corn fibre. What did I say this was? Oh no, that's the soy silk. And it's just, there's orange, there's purple, there's blue, there's green, yellow, cream. Did I say purple already? But it's just so gorgeous. Look at those colours. Look at those. They're just so pretty. So pretty. Cannot wait to spin this one. I think this one's one of my favourites. I was determined not to get cat fur on my trousers today because I'm going out. But it turns out I'm just going to get fibre all over my trousers. Excuse the crinkling. Yeah, I didn't get that second one back in its bag. So yeah, I'm on to my second bat, as I was saying. So I have quite a few more to go, so this is going to be an ongoing project, unless I do what I done with the sock and just go tunnel vision basically for it, which is a high possibility. I might do that tomorrow. I like having one lazy day where I don't really get out of my pyjamas, and because I'm out today, that might be tomorrow. I do get out of my pyjamas, I'm not being that disgusting. There's literally a sea of bats down to my left and a sea of fibre on my trousers. This is why you don't wear black if you're a fibre person. So those are my whips, and I'm just making a mess in front of me, not that you guys can see it. So we've covered faux, we've covered whips, and now we're going to cover what I want to cast on. So obviously the first one is a second Star Wars hat, given that's just, of course that's happening. And then the second one I really want to cast on, and I'm in two minds about which pattern to print off. They're printed off. I'm on two minds about which one to go with. So one I can easily pronounce, one I can't easily pronounce. So we'll go with the one I can easily pronounce. And this one was in my queue already, but someone recommended it to me, which is the $5 in Paris. It's on Ravelry, it's a free pattern. It calls for Karen So Soft, and we are on US size 8. So what's a US size 8? Where is my needle gaugey doodah? Yep, that is the technical term, people, a needle gaugey doodah. So, US 8 is a 5mm. So we're like what? Aran weight? Worsted? I think that's worsted weight, which I have, and my neighbour's car's broken down. The AA's outside. The AA, I don't know if anyone else gets the AA like outside of Britain, but the AA is just like a tow company that'll fix your car at the side of the road. So we've got the $5 in Paris, or we've got Miette, which is a crop cardigan with 3/4 length sleeves and eyelet details. So we've got a pullover, which is the $5 in Paris, or we have a cardigan, where I'd finally need to learn buttonholes. So this is the Miette. Let's see, where does it actually say Miette? There we go. So if I'm pronouncing this wrong, that's it there for you to see it. It's M-I-E-T-T-E. They're both free patterns on Ravelry. They're both in my, they're either in my favourites or my queue. I'm not sure which one, but they're there. So if anyone wants to try and find them and doesn't want to have to search for them, just go onto my page and go into my favourites or my queue and they'll be there. And I wanted to cast on the Miette a long time ago. That one calls for 5mm and 4.5mm needles. Blah, blah. Worsted weight. And I don't know, I'm really torn about which one I like. If I made the Miette, I'd need to make it longer than what they've got in the picture, because it comes to literally maybe, that would come to like halfway down my tummy, and that's just a no-go for me. Excuse me. Whereas the $5 in Paris looks like a full-blown jumper. So, you know, normal length down to the hips. I might make both actually. I might actually find myself making both of them, and I'll probably start with the $5 in Paris because I just really like it. I like that it's quite open on the neck. You get your sleeves down to about here, or you can make them longer. I like the fact that it's knitted all in one. There's no... I wonder if there's shaping, because I would need shaping. Stripes, abbreviations, directions, arm increases, sleeve stitches, main body. Yep, optional side shaping. So that's fine. So watch this space. I might be ticking off more things on my knitting resolution quicker than I thought I would this year. So that's socks and colour work, and I generally have printed out patterns for a jumper. So, well, it's top down raglan, whichever one, however you want to say it. So I might be ticking more things off my knitting resolution quicker than I thought I would be this year. So those are three things I want to cast on. So that's my Star Wars hat, Miette, and $5 in Paris. And because I have them printed off, it makes it so much easier. So I'm leaving them lying around my bedroom so that I keep going, oh yeah, I need wool for that. But then I keep going, oh yeah, wool ban. So it's kind of like two sides to a stone, basically. I've got one where I really want to cast it on and make it, and then the other one going, you can't buy the wool. So we'll work around that. I'll find a way around that one, because I bought the wool for the Star Wars hat. But we'll go into that in the whole what I got up to last week. Excuse me, sorry guys, my voice has been going for like a month now. It kind of comes in and out. So, we covered folds, whips, and what I want to cast on. So now we're just going to go on to what's been happening. My first really exciting bit of news is I was on, I think it's called the Stitchery's website. No, I was on Facebook and the Stitchery came up saying we're doing this whole 1-day sewing class. It was either 1 day or 2 days. And it was at the weekend and they were going to be making pyjama bottoms, and I was just like, oh, I really want to learn to sew clothes. I've sewn bags, I have done the whole zip thing, I've never done a lining, got to admit, never once done a lining. So I am a beginner. I am a total beginner, but I know how to do some things. Like I can put a zip in pretty decent, which really surprised me. And I'm sure I've sewn some other bits. Oh yeah, I made a pair of curtains. So I am not a complete novice. Is that the right word? We'll just go with beginner. I'm not a complete beginner, but at the same point, I am still a beginner. So I was on and I was like, £65 for, I'm pretty sure it was 1 day, and I was like, £65 for 1 day to make a pair of pyjama butts. Yep, I call them pyjama butts, not pyjama bottoms. So I had a really good long think and I was scrolling up and down the website, and lo and behold, up comes a 10-week course on making garments, and I bought it. I did. I am now officially signed up for a 10-week sewing class where I'm going to make a skirt that's really pretty, really gorgeous skirt. And you learn everything. You learn buttonholes, whether your pattern's got a button or not. You learn zips, hemming. My mind's gone blank and I can't remember what the other steps are. But it's 10 weeks, and at the end of the time you've got a finished garment. And you can go during the weekends, because my class will be on a Thursday. Excuse me, I've got a really itchy back. My class is going to be on a Thursday, and I'm going to be going straight up from work. What's my laptop doing? So, every Thursday I'll be going out to Glasgow. I think it's till about 9:30? 9? 9:30 or 9. And I'm going to be working on my sewing skills. So, that's really exciting. I'm still paying up the class. It was quite expensive. It's $225 in total. I paid $25 for the deposit, and I will be paying the rest back. I'll actually pay the rest back today. So yeah, I have been accumulating a box full of sewing things, because they like you to bring your own kind of sewing equipment, so your scissors, your pins, your measuring tape, that kind of thing. So I've been accumulating a box that my mum's been helping me fill with like thread and exactly everything what I've said just before. So that's on the cards, so that's really exciting. But more exciting than that, and she can't give me into trouble now because she's told people, but as you know, my best friend is pregnant, and they think they found out the sex. Like, the doctors warned her that it can change at any point. You don't really know until the baby's actually born, but they have said it looks like it's a girl. I'm so happy. I'd have been happy if it's a boy, I really would, but girls are easier to knit for. I know that is a whole kind of taboo subject. Like, all the male podcasters are going like, how to not word this wrong. All the male podcasters are trying to obviously promote male knitting and stuff like that, and there's the perfect example. Knitting for a baby, it's so much easier to knit for a little girl than it is for a little boy. So I'm not saying that to annoy anybody, but it's the truth. It is totally the truth, and I can see why the male knitters and the male podcasters out there are trying to promote for more male patterns, and I am well for that, because I like to knit for guys. I've got male friends. I'm eventually going to have male kids in my life that other people are having. So, you know what I mean? Like, it needs to be filled. That void needs to be filled. But at the same point, she's having a girl. Back onto the subject. So she got 14 weeks to go. So I've got 14 weeks to knit baby things. Oh my goodness. And I know last week I said about the sleep bag. Yeah, I didn't start it. As you will have seen from my whips and my foes and what I'm going to cast on. It's still an option, I'm still going to do it, but I need the wool, and the wool band is really getting in the way, so I'm going to have to go through my stash. Which is fine, because I am on a stash busting mode. I'll get into that. So, my next one is Edinburgh Yarn Festival. I have my ticket, I have my train tickets. Well, I bought my train tickets, I'm waiting for them to arrive. I will be in Edinburgh I'm leaving Greenock just before 8 o'clock in the morning. I will be getting on the train in Glasgow to Edinburgh at exactly 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm more surprised I actually managed to reserve a seat. I have never reserved a seat on a train in my life. But I have a seat reservation on the train that I'm getting to Edinburgh. So I think I get into Edinburgh just before 10 o'clock in the morning. And I will be possibly meeting up with one of my friends. Excuse me. And I'll either be meeting up with my friend and then heading out, because I technically have a spare ticket, or I'm just going to head out. Or I'm going to meet him for a coffee and then head out. But either way, I'm going to be in Edinburgh from 10 o'clock. And I am probably going to be leaving Edinburgh about, I think it's 4 o'clock. I need to head back down, because train tickets are so expensive. Originally, ScotRail wanted to try and charge me £35 to get from Greenock to Glasgow to Edinburgh and back again. So that was £35 for the full journey, for the full day. And I was like, that is not happening. That is far too much money. And I did look at Megabus as an option, but I hate buses. And traffic is a nightmare, especially so early in the morning and at rush hour at night. Well, it's rush hour in the morning as well. You get what I mean though. The traffic is horrendous and it really puts me off. So as much as I could have got the bus for £1, I just didn't want to. So I went with the slightly dearer option, and I ended up getting my tickets. I ended up getting Greenock to Glasgow and then Glasgow to Edinburgh separately, but both returns. And I managed to get the price down to £21, which is really good. I could get it to 19, but it would have meant I had 4 hours in Edinburgh. It would have meant I didn't get to Edinburgh until 11:15. And then by the time I got out there, it wouldn't have been worth it for 4 hours, especially considering there's the podcasters lounge from 12:30 till 2. So I'd have got there and I'd have got half an hour walking around looking at the wool before I needed to dash off to the podcasters lounge. And I was just like, no, I want to have a more relaxed morning. As much as I might be a wee bit tired from having to get up at like 5:30 in the morning to get like the right train, I did not want to have to rush once I got there. I want to enjoy Edinburgh Yarn Festival as much as I can. But like I've said, I need to get back down the road at a specific time. I do have 2 different trains to catch and both have been booked for a specific time, so I will be watching the clock after. I think I'll need to kind of leave the venue at 3:30 to get back down the road, and I'm okay with that, believe it or not. This is my first big event, being out of the house. That sounds so horrible, so bad, but with, I've kind of touched on this last podcast, with my Crohn's and stuff, I do find it hard to be social and to be out the house for long periods of times, and to be new places as well can be quite anxious, can make me quite anxious. And the fact that I have planned to be out the house so early and be out the house for so long in a place that I have no idea about the venue, I have no idea about if I'm going to be able to get a taxi easily enough to and from the venue. It's all up in the air. So for me, this is a big deal. I'm really kind of feeling quite proud of myself. And it might sound completely stupid to some people, going, oh my god, you're going out for a couple of hours, get over yourself. But you don't have this illness, you don't have this sickness hanging over you. Because I have been pretty sick the last week. But this is a big deal for me, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to not let the Crohn's get in the way. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I need to plan what project I'm going to have in my bag, because I'm going to be on a train, I think on the way up to Glasgow. I'm just over half an hour on the train up, and then I'm an hour out to Edinburgh, and then I'm an hour back, and then I'm either half an hour to 45 minutes on the train back down to Greenock. So that's plenty of time for me to sit in it. And then there's obviously knitting time at Edinburgh Yarn Festival. So yeah, I'm going to need a really good project in my bag, and something light as well. So I don't know, I might shove in a shawl and a sock, but don't quote me on that, because that means I've got to start another sock. So next, what are we up to? I have the worst notes ever. Look at that. How pathetic are they? I am doing so well in catching this 20-minute segment thing. I'm so sorry, that was my phone. I need to turn it on silent. But yeah, I'm doing so well catching up on these. Why will my volume not turn down? Stop. I'm doing so well in catching these 20-minute segments. So yeah, you just got a very quick glance at my show notes. They're really bad. And I'm gonna basically do this whole week in review that people are doing. So there's no point doing the first of my 2 weeks because I was just in work, and then it got to last weekend and I had 4 days out of work. So I had Saturday, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, and I just took the time off because I've got holidays to use up. There's no other reason than that. So on the Monday, my mum and I went to Alexandria for Edith's wool shop. So Alexandria is across the water for me. It's quite close to Loch Lomond or Balloch, depending on how you want to kind of look at the location. And it's not Balloch, it's Balloch. It's the same as Loch, it's not Loch, it's Loch. But so yeah, we went to Edith's wool shop, and I love Edith's. I used to live over that side of the water for about a year and a half, and I could just jump on a train and get to Edith's. It's quite a small shop, but what she's got kind of makes up for that. There is quite a bit of acrylic, but there is also really gorgeous yarns. I ended up getting my Star Wars stuff from there, which is 55% wool, 10% nylon, and then the rest was acrylic. So it was pretty good for what it was, and it was just under £5 a ball. And then they've got some of that heart and soul stuff for sock knitting. They've got such a variation, and the woman that works there, she's just so nice. She's so lovely. She's so helpful as well. I was having a really hard time trying to decide what colour to get for the border. So the teal I was showing you earlier, and when I went up to pay, she's like, so you finally picked colour? And I was like, maybe. And she just laughed, because I could have ran back, because I would have bought the exact same ball, the exact same make, so it would have been the same price, and I could have changed it for a lime green. I'm still tempted to go get that wool. But yeah, if you're in the area, check out Edith's. I will put the name and the spelling down, but it's literally just Edith, so EDITHS, and it's in Alexandria. So on the same day, we then doubled back to Dumbarton, which is where I used to live, and we were hitting some of the charity shops, and we went into the cancer research shop, and we ended up finding this great find. So it's knitting, hats and mittens from around the world, and pretty much 90% of the projects in this book are colour work. So you can see what the Star Wars hat has done to me. You can see how it has now spurred me on, if you want to put it that way, to check out more colour work patterns. And I will show you a quick couple of pictures, because obviously I don't know if these are on Ravelry at all. And so here's a pair of mittens that are just really pretty, that I could see myself making. And then here is a really gorgeous hat and matching mittens to go with it. So for $2.25 it's a really good book. So that's knitting, hats and mittens from around the world, 34 heirloom patterns and a variety of styles and techniques. And there's no author. Oh, Voyager Press. I'm assuming that's just the publishing company. But you know, for like $2.25, you really can't go wrong. Like, my mum picked it up and I was like, if you don't buy that, I will. And she was just like, we'll just go halves. So half the book belongs to me, half the book belongs to her, but we'll still share. I know there's other things I wanted to talk about, but I'm trying to make my brain kick back into action, because this morning's gone pretty kind of fast paced because I know I need to get out the house. And I left my show notes to the very last minute again, even though I knew fine well I was going to be recording. And oh yeah, the obvious one, I have red hair. So I dyed my hair and it's straightened today. I actually slightly made an effort, because you're all like, what's going on with her hair? I decided that I really just wanted a bit of a change, a wee bit more of a colour in my life, so I kind of went with this really gorgeous red. I was hoping for brighter, like Little Mermaid, but I don't want to bleach my hair. I have enough issues with my hair, like you'll see from like episode 3 or something, and I'm not against bleaching hair, like people can do it if they want to, but it's just not smart. I done that, I bleached my hair and then I bleached it again and my hair literally crumbled. So I don't bleach my hair anymore. Excuse me. So, I've got down stash busting as my last thing, and basically that just means that I am trying so hard that for every project I really want to make, I'm going to try and make it from stash that I already have. So for the likes of my sleep bag for my best mate, well, my best mate's baby, I'm going to try and use some wool that I've got in the house. And I might even make like a pure like scrap blanket for them and see for that, because I know she is going to be breastfeeding, so I want to kind of give her like a blanket if she wants it. I'm not saying she's definitely going to use it, I'm just saying if she wants it I might make her a wee blanket that she can throw over. I have wool pretty much everywhere in my house. I sat for a while and kind of separated my good wool from my not so good wool, which would be my acrylic, and I think I'm going to try and keep up with that. So I've got, it's like one of those IKEA boxes you get for the cube cupboard. So if you look here, so that's one of the cube cupboards, and the top ones have doors on them, whereas the ones lower down have like the pull-out boxes that you put in them. So one of them is totally full of acrylic, and then I've got my wardrobe to my right, and there's 2 huge boxes full of yarn, and that's like a whole selection between my better wool and my acrylic. And then I've got more wool down to my right and more wool down to my left, and you can see why I need to be on this yarn ban. So I am trying to stash bust. So for everything I use, I'm feeling a bit better about how much I have. And it's a ridiculous amount of yarn. It is a ridiculous amount of yarn for someone that keeps saying I don't have the right stuff. I probably do. I've just forgotten what I've got. If I could have it in a way that I could see it all, I would, but I don't have the space for one of those cabinets where I could just, like a glass cabinet, to have like a quick glance and see as like, oh yeah, that's what I've got. So I'm going by my memory, and my memory is shocking. I have such a bad memory. But that's not me being really cheeky. I think that must be about it. That's all I've really done. Oh, other podcasts. There we go. I have been watching podcasts like crazy recently, and I have come across some new ones. So I'm looking at my YouTube right now. So I have been watching the Grocery Girls podcast, which thank you to everyone that gave me the name of them, because I know I spoke about them last week and I was just like, oh, two girls, America, grocery shops. How did I not put the two together? So I've been watching the Grocery Girls podcast like crazy. I love them. Two pieces. And I have been watching, who else? I'm now up to date with Along the Lanes. I'm up to date with Sticks Plus Twine. I'm up to date with Yarngasm. Who else am I up to date with? Kilter Craft I'm up to date with. Helen Whiteley I'm up to date with. Inside number 23, I am now up to date. I actually done a pure binge watch on Inside number 23. I know I spoke about it last week and saying, oh hey, I've heard about this. Yeah, between then and now, totally binge watch Katie. And love it, absolutely love it. And who else? Junk Yarn was a new one that I found, and I love that. I think that's brilliant. I'm so in love. And then I have finally found Legacy Knits, which is great. I love the whole mum-daughter duo. May get my mum on the podcast one day. Yep, mum, you heard that right. You are coming on the podcast. Who else? Legacy Knits, Junk Yarn. There's more. Oh, I started watching 10,000 Stitches, which has been really interesting. I'm all up to date with the Knitting Expat podcast, which is Mina. Diary of a Yarn Snob. Yep, that is a new one to me. So Diary of a Yarn Snob and The Homespun House. These are new podcasts to me. Although one's just come up on my thing. Two Tangled Skeins is a recommended channel for me. I may need to check that out tonight. But yeah, I have been watching podcasts like crazy. I am literally coming in and I was so determined to get my sock, my Star Wars hat, and now I'm so determined to finish my Nurmalintu shawl that whenever I'm doing this, I just stick on a podcast in the background. And I've done it when I'm spinning as well, and I'm so focused on my spinning, I'm literally just listening to it. I'm not actually watching. So I may consider like audio podcasts. So any audio podcasts that you want. Oh, I've just remembered one I wanted to watch, and I can't remember the name of it. I found it on Instagram, and then because of that they made me go onto Amazon and buy a book. But I will show that when it arrives, which should be the 1st of March, which is just around the corner. So yeah, I've been watching podcasts like crazy, and I'm loving everyone. Everyone just seems so nice on their podcast. Like, people think the Scottish have like, I don't know if you think we have an attitude problem or you just don't understand our accent, but we are nice. I do promise we are nice. And but everyone that I watch just seems so nice, and I get inspired by every single person that I watch, and I feel like they are what's the word? Kind of nudging me in their direction that I need to make the patterns that they're making, and I don't want to be a copycat. I don't want to be like, oh well, Katie from Inside Number 23 made this, so I need to make it. I don't want to come off across like that at all, but when you see somebody make something and you're just like, wow, I need to make that. It's that kind of thing. And talking of Inside Number 23, Katie is doing a Hogwarts, no, not a Hogwarts, a Harry Potter knit along, and I'm so taking part because, excuse me, my sister, hi Haley, loves Harry Potter, loves Harry Potter, so I'm not going to say what I'm making. I am not going to show it off in the podcast until it's finished and Haley has received it. I'm going to make my sister something for Harry Potter. And now she knows, but she will not know what it is. And she will not know until she receives it. And then because of that, I might not be able to talk about it on the podcast for a while. But you know it's there, you know it's coming. So that's something for me to look forward to, because I've never taken part in a cal before. So this is going to be interesting. And to round up this very haphazard, put together at the last minute podcast, today is my 1 year anniversary for passing my driving test. Yes indeed, I have been driving and legally on the roads for a year now, which is crazy. Just crazy. Where's the time going? And how the hell did I legally be allowed to drive a car? I am a good driver, but it just, somewhere in the back of my mind there, I'm like, how did you pass your test? I failed the first one and passed the second one. But yeah, that came up on my Facebook on this day, and I knew fine well it was coming because I was just like, 27th of February, I passed my driving test. So it was the 27th of February I passed my driving test, and then it was the 8th of March I got my first car. But let's not go into that subject because I no longer have that car. But yeah, so I hope you all have a really great day. Thank you so much for coming and spending a wee bit of your time with me. I'm so sorry for the haphazardness and all over the place and generally just being like, which is a technical word. Is a technical word. I am going to go enjoy the sunshine that Scotland has finally given us. That's my postman, in case you heard that noise. Now if you're wondering what it is, because it sounded quite heavy. But I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching a bit of my podcast, a bit of my life. Come say hi on Instagram, come say hi on Ravelry, and hit the subscribe button, give me a wee thumbs up if you want to. And for anyone that's going to be at Edinburgh Yarn Festival, I will see you there. Because I am at an event next weekend. No I'm not. I'm at an event. Is it the week I record? Trying to pull up my calendar. And of course, my laptop doesn't want to. Let me just check something. Calendar. Yeah, so I would normally record on the Saturday and I'm going to be in Glasgow on the 12th. So I'm going to try and record on the 13th. And I will be recording little segments at Edinburgh Yarn Festival, so if anyone wants in on a podcast, come say hi. So yeah, enjoy your weekend, have a lovely time. Thank you again for watching. Come say hi on Ravelry or Instagram. It might take me a while to say hi back due to some technical issues I've been having with Ravelry on my phone and my tablet. Not sure if I talked about that or whether that was my first attempt at the podcast. But yeah, enjoy the weather. I hope you've got some sunshine like Scotland does for the first time in a while. And thanks for watching. See you guys later. Bye. Hi again. So, sidebar, as you just heard, my postman just came, and let me get these in the right order. Oh, that's not a ticket. Glasgow to Greenock, Greenock to Glasgow. Oh, these are weird. Oh, okay, one's my seat reservation. So, how am I going to do this? My tickets for Edinburgh! Well, yeah, my train tickets to go to Edinburgh have arrived. So, I'm going to be leaving Greenock. Oh man, they don't have the times of my train. Okay, my Edinburgh ones have the time of my train. That's fine. So I'm going to be on the train to Edinburgh at 9 o'clock, and I'm going to be on the train out of Edinburgh. Hey, it's a whole hour later than I was expecting. So I'm going to be leaving Edinburgh at 17:17 exactly. So, how good timing was that? All in time for my podcast. And now I'm going to put these somewhere I'm going to remember and not lose them. But yeah, those came really quickly. I just ordered them the other day. Sorry for the pure last minute part. But yeah, sidebar, my tickets arrived. Bye!